afternoon, all. I am so excited to bring to you Rick, who is an exceptional business coach with a remarkable track record of guiding companies and individuals to unparalleled success. With his extensive and eclectic business experience and coaching expertise, Rick empowers his clients to turn their visions into actionable strategies, propelling them towards their goals and milestones. As a serial entrepreneur, Rick has scaled businesses across various industries and creating a multi-million-dollar company that serves clients in 80 countries, including top hotel chains and Fortune 500 companies. Wow. Welcome, Rick.
Thanks for having me, Ida, and thank you very much for such a lovely introduction. But before we start, I'd like to share a core belief that I hold really dear to myself. We all have the potential to be architects of change. In today's era, which is really defined by this constant transformation, our task is not just to keep up, but to actively shape the path forward. From stacking shelves and learning the ropes of people management as a trainee in a supermarket, to immersing myself in the more precise world of accounting and later navigating this constantly evolving landscape of technology and humans, my own story demonstrates the power of transformation and continuous learning and the significant impact each and every one of us can make. Every day, our actions, whether they're big or even small, tiny ones, they shape our future. And as we discuss stuff today, Ida, I want everybody listening to remember this. You are your own brand, and every single decision that you make is part of the unique story that you are crafting for yourself. How you react, how you adapt, and how you innovate in the face of all of this change will define your story and your legacy. This belief, inspiring each of us to aim for balanced fulfillment, is the cornerstone of my work. It's my life purpose. So as we dive into our conversation today, Ida, let's not just think about adapting to change, but about how we can define it. After all, when we each embrace our unique abilities and our unique qualities, and we all have that unique quality and ability, and we strive for personal growth, we are not just participants, but we're catalysts in our ever-changing business as unusual world. So let's get started, Ida.
Yes, indeed. What a beautiful opening, Rick, to get us all in that mood of making a difference. So, business as unusual. I like that. What does that mean?
What does that mean? Well, I wrote a book that came out last year called, funny enough, Business as Unusual: How to Thrive in the New Renaissance. And this business as unusual, it really was born during this COVID pandemic that all of us experienced. Now, when that pandemic hit us, and at the time I was living in Vietnam, so it hit us hard, and the country shut itself down like many other countries, but we were literally confined to our apartments and we needed a permit to go to the supermarket, silly things like that, which became part of normal life. This situation was new to everyone. It's not something we've experienced before in any of our lifetimes. And, as things potentially got worse and restrictions got more and more and businesses started to dry up, okay, and businesses started to go bankrupt, the people that I spoke to, other business leaders, I began to get a little bit fed up with people saying, when this is over,
Mm.
when we get back to business as usual. And I'm going like, hey, there's no going back to business as usual. This is such a crazy thing that's happened that there is no going back to business as usual. Everything is unusual. And that's where I got the business as unusual from. And it was proven because, we went through what, 2020, 2021, and then things started lightening up and they'd slam closed again a few months later, a few weeks later. It was open, close, open, close, open, close. It was crazy out there. It
Yes.
was absolutely crazy. And I thought, hey, anyone thinking that this is going to end and you can just put Jack back in the box and go back to the way it was, forget it. I mean, you're on the wrong planet. It's not like that anymore. And that's really where the business as unusual came in. And it just continued. And it wasn't just the pandemic. Then we had geopolitical tensions. We had the odd war popping up here, there, and everywhere. We had inflation, deflation, huge retrenchments. And it's just going on and on and on. And even today, the jury's still out, isn't it? Are we
Yeah.
supposed to go back to the office or are we supposed to stay away from the office? Or is it somewhere in between? Like, what is it? I mean, it hasn't settled, it hasn't changed.
No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. And you're right. It's everything is so different. And we're not going back. That's for sure. That is
No
that
way.
is history. So how do we deal with the ups and downs, the unknowns in a world that is so volatile right now? It's like you don't know what's going to happen from minute to minute, day to day. It's difficult to plan from 3 months, 6 months because you don't know how it's going to be.
Absolutely. So it's a change in mindset, and it's really embracing the fact that what is normal, So to me, there is no normal anymore. It's just unusual.
Yes.
Um, Something that we've never thought of, and maybe even something the world's never experienced, is likely to pop up again and again and again. And
Mhm.
so, therefore, we just have to be very vigilant. We have to be alert. What does that mean for an individual or an organization? It means, yeah, well, in order to survive this, we need resilience.
Mhm.
How the adage goes, fall down 7 times, get up 8. You've got to keep on getting up. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down, you trip yourself up, someone trips you up, your business goes out of business. It doesn't matter. Okay. You're either going to lay there and play dead, or you're just going to get up and get going again. We got to keep on getting up. And all right, as a species, humans, we keep doing that, don't we? We've
Yes, we
survived.
do.
And we got to remember that's who we are. We're survivors. Survival of the fittest, which means that we got to keep on getting up. It doesn't matter what is thrown at us. So yeah, we have to be resilient. So how do we be resilient? Well, to be resilient, we need to be more agile. Okay, there's a lot of talk about agile. I know that came from programming and a way of managing process and things, but it's that's being adopted into mainstream. As in, we've got to look at smaller increments. One of the things I talk about is lifelong learning. We've got to keep on growing. We've got to keep on learning. Hey, 2 years ago, nobody knew what Chat GPT was. 2 years ago, none of us knew what generative AI was. Okay, most of us didn't know what it was. And then today, well, that's normal, isn't it? That's just
Mhm.
another tool that has taken the world by storm and has moved all the goalposts. Okay, it's made some jobs, okay, maybe more redundant because, hey, you can automate that. Why are you still doing it yourself? And on the other hand, it's opening up new avenues because since we don't need to do that basic stuff, it frees up our time to do more advanced stuff. So we have to be agile. We have to be prepared for whatever new thing pops up. And it may be something very non-threatening. It just might be a new tool. a new idea on how to do things, okay, we'll learn it, we'll adopt it, we'll move on with it. The stuff that we were doing, the challenges, we have to let it go. We have to, in order to learn more stuff and adopt new habits and adopt new processes, it also means that we need to let go of old stuff.
Yes.
Now that's the hard bit. They're both hard, adopting something new and letting go of the very, very safe and familiar. We just need to be very good at doing that. And if we can't do it yet, well, we can start learning it from today.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's start learning because depending on what era you're in, it's difficult to change for some people. Change can be very difficult.
Yeah.
So, how do we be flexible and roll with the flow?
Well, I guess we can just take smaller steps. We can take baby steps.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, in order to grow, something needs to change. Okay? Because if we're not changing, we're not growing.
Absolutely.
Okay? So, they say that, growth happens beyond your comfort zone. All right. So if we're comfortable doing the same thing all the time, and then we're not growing because we're not actually changing. Okay. And so we have to learn to get used to feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Okay. It's a bit like, okay, hey, if one day you suddenly decide you want to start getting fit and, I better start going to the gym. And hey, the last time I went to the gym is when I left school all those decades ago. When you go to the gym and you start doing stuff, whether you got a trainer or not, whether you're doing it yourself, certain exercises, certain movements are going to hurt because that's not how your body moves. It's not used to it.
Mhm.
But anybody who's used to going to the gym realizes that if you want to build the muscle, okay, and whether to make it bigger or stronger, or whether just to make it more endurable, okay, and stretch it, I'm getting old, I'm a baby boomer. I go to the gym and and my personal trainer says, well, you're one of the most inflexible people that I've ever seen. I mean, you are so stiff, it's not true. I mean, forget about go touch your toes. Can I just touch my knees? Will that do? you know, I, I can't touch my toes. Forget that. That was decades ago. I don't even know if I could do it when I was a kid. But, if I want to improve that and put that, I need to stretch my muscles because they're too short. I need to stretch them. Okay, that hurts.
Yes.
Okay, but if you try it a little bit every day, again and again and again and again, and then you do it for a long period of time, well, guess what? At one point in time, I may be touching my toes again. So there is a little bit of discomfort. It doesn't have to be pain. There's some discomfort, and so when we're trying to change a process or when we're trying to say change one of our behaviors, there's going to be some natural inbuilt resistance to it because maybe some of the things that we do them automatically. We don't even think about it anymore. It's become an automatic habit. So to change that habit, that's the trick. That's the challenge. We have to unlearn something and learn something new, and there are several ways of doing that.
Yes. Yes, it is. I'm enjoying you, Rick. This is so good. So, if people want to work with you, how do they do so?
Okay. If people want to connect with me, it's really easy. Google my name. Just Google my name. And since business is unusual, you will soon discover there is only one person on the planet with my name, and you're looking at him. That's me. And so after you Googled me, you'll find my website, you'll find my YouTube channel, you'll find all my social media stuff on Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever it is, you will find me because there's only one of me.
And that's exactly what I did. I Googled your name, and that's how I found you. Everything, all of your connections, all that kind of stuff. Uh, he's
So
absolutely right, ladies and gentlemen.
so
Wow.
that is really, really unusual. So yeah, and if you do, you can find me, connect to me, reach out to me. I do work with individuals as well as corporates. I prefer to work with individuals rather than corporates, to tell the truth, because I can.
Yeah, so let's talk about the transformation as it relates to business.
Mhm.
As we know, like you just mentioned, we got AI taking things to another level. We've got employees wanting to work from home.
Yeah.
So all of these things weigh in our everyday business activity. So how do companies transform without messing up the bottom line? Let's put it that
That's a very good question. I think in order to not mess up the bottom line, it is necessary to transform and change.
way. Yes.
Okay. Right. So I see it is if you want to be sustainable and you want to maintain your company into the future and you want to maintain the profitability and grow it, something needs to change. Because what can be guaranteed is if nothing changes, and we believe that what we've always been doing will continue working and everything will be fine and dandy, well, we're living on the wrong planet. It's not like that. Okay. So we must change. Now, we were talking about, should people work at home? Should they work in the office? Should they work virtually, hybrid, or whatever it is? It's a very, very good question. And my attitude to that is, well, there are two sides to that. It's what does the company want, and what do the people working there currently want?
Mhm.
Okay. Um, Now, prior to the pandemic, we always went into the office. The formula was you get up, you go to work, you have that commute, you complain and moan about it, you get to your office, you sit in your nice little cube, probably jump onto your hamster wheel and go around in circles. Pandemic comes along, throw your hamster wheel away, throw the cube away, and in some cases, threw the offices away as well. Now, you might not have an office to go back to in some companies. They've gone 100% virtual, whether you like it or not.
Mhm.
Others, okay, they retain their real estate and they want you to come back. Is one right and the other one wrong? They are what they are. Okay, the companies have done what they have done. The mismatch is the goalposts have changed. So, as an individual, if I've joined this company because I like going to the office and I like the collaboration, the camaraderie I have with my fellow workers and around the water cooler, we go out to lunch and we have fun together. If I like that environment, if that company changes to we are now 100% virtual, it doesn't fit me anymore. I'm sorry, it doesn't fit me. And so as an individual, I'm going to vote with my feet. If I don't like it, I'm going to leave. And that's what I believe is one of the drivers around this. It was originally called the Great Reshuffle. And then it was called the Great Resignation. And then it was called the Great Insert whatever word that you want.
Right.
And all it really is because the goalposts have moved. All right.
Mhm.
And some of it was beyond all of our control. Hey, the company I work for, they went bankrupt. Okay. For those poor souls who are working in the hospitality industry, especially in those in countries, in Southeast Asia, where I was based, some of those countries locked down for more than a year. There were no tourists. It completely wiped out industries or wiped out communities. So much bankruptcy. All of those people lost their jobs, millions of them, and they can't find another job in hospitality. There weren't any. They pivoted to go and do something completely different. I know it sucks. I know it sucks, but going right back to the start of our conversation, what are you going to do? You're going to roll over and play dead, or you're just going to get up and keep on going? You've got to get up. All right. So
Yeah.
anyway, for the businesses, yeah, rightly or wrongly, companies have made a decision. The two extremes are never come back to the office, stay virtual, or you must come back to the office. There's no virtual. They're the two extremes, and there's so many combinations in between. All right. I don't know what the best practice is because there hasn't been enough time to establish it. But in my mind, it's just it's going to work in any organization if there is an alignment of what the workforce wants and what the company wants.
Yes.
Okay. If everybody wants to work hybrid, which means, for example, 2 days in the office a week and everyone's happy with that, well, great. We all win.
Yeah.
If we're not happy with that, well, it's not going to go very well, is it? You're going to have turnover and some disgruntled people. All right. You're going to have to accept that. All right. Is one right or the other wrong? It depends on the workforce that you have, how you've explained it, and what those people are like anyway.
Yeah.
Some people like working remotely because they've discovered stuff during the pandemic that they ended up working remotely and they ended up enjoying it
Yes.
and they don't want to change. Others hated it and they
Yeah.
can't wait to get back to the office. Uh, it's very, very, very tricky. And then the other thing is you can say, hey, what about new people that we're hiring? Okay. Well, that's tricky because if you've got hybrid and you're bringing in new people, how do they want to work? Did they really want to work in the office or did they really want to work hybrid in the first place? Well, it depends on the individual, doesn't it? So that's why to me, there's no hard and fast rule. It's a lot of iterations that need to happen to find out what works best for the organization. Really, that's to me, that's what it boils down to. Okay. And some organizations have said, yeah, emphatically, you must come back or else. Fine, that's their decision. Nothing wrong in that. That's their decision. Okay. And there will be some people who are happy with it and a bunch of people who are not happy with it.
Exactly. Exactly. So how do people get the book?
How to get the book? Okay. Well, this is the book. This is the book. Amazon. You can go to Amazon. It's available as a paperback. It's available as a Kindle. It's available as an audiobook via Amazon. If you happen to live in Vietnam, you can go to one of your local bookshops like Fahasa or one of the online bookshops and you can buy it online. Barnes and Noble online. Yeah, a few other places. You can go to my website. It's got all the links in there.
Yes. And again, how do people connect with you? Just look up your name.
Yep, just look up my name, find me on social media. My main one is really LinkedIn, and just ask for a connection. And yeah, I'll connect with you. Reach out to me, really.
Yes, because I know you people need this. And one of the things about personal development is
Mm.
constant thing. Once you start, it's no stopping. It's a way of life.
Absolutely. I mean, I always say I believe in one of my core values is Kaizen. Okay, which is Japanese word, is also behind, the Toyota way. And that's all about constant improvement. So when you're looking at businesses, it's looking at the constant improvement. What little change can we make?
Mhm.
Okay. And if we make lots of little changes, well, at the end, it's a big change, right? Now, how does that, I reinterpret that for ourselves as individuals, and I reinterpret it as lifelong learning. So how do I make myself better? Well, I need to learn something new every single day. So go back on your personal development, learn something new every single day. Okay. It doesn't have to be a big thing. It just has to be a thing. All right.
Yes.
Keep on doing that day after day, month after month, year after year, and you continue growing.
Yeah.
And compare that to the people who don't.
Yes, and it's a wonderful feeling to grow. It really
Mm,
is. It really feels
mm,
good, even though, everything you want is on the other side of your comfort zone, as they say.
mm,
And
mm,
sometimes it's frustrating, but once you
mm-hmm.
get it, you're doing the happy dance. I know I am.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, as they say, life is a journey, isn't it? All of this is a journey,
Yes,
and part of that journey is growing.
yes. And you should want to. I can't imagine me just sitting and not learning anything.
Hmm.
I can't even see myself that doing that.
Hmm.
Even if
Hmm.
I feel like even if I'm 90 years old, I'm still gonna want to do something because that's never
Absolutely.
been me. It's never ever been me.
I think once you start on that personal development journey, it's a lifelong journey.
It
It's
is.
just there's no destination. It's the journey. I mean, life is a journey. It's not a destination. So enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yes. Well, this has been awesome, Rick. We've got to do this again because we definitely have to do this again because I enjoyed your company and I like your how you present and we're gonna do this again.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, Ida.
So thank you so much for taking time out. And I said you will be back.
Okay. Now, Ida, as we close, I just want all our listeners to remember this one thought. We are not just participants in this ever-changing world, but you're architects shaping the course of your own lives, your careers, and the world around you. I encourage each and every one of you and us to embrace change and define it. Don't just adapt and react to it. Be that catalyst in your own business as unusual world. Okay. The transformation really starts with you. And I'm eager to hear about your journeys. So, Ida, I'd like to again express my extreme gratitude to you for having me on your podcast today, trusting in me to come on and talk with you. It's been a wonderful conversation. I've really enjoyed talking to you. I love your questions, and I hope our listeners have enjoyed it as much as I have. Now, to all the listeners out there, I really appreciate your time and attention. Okay, and more importantly, I look forward to hearing from some of you, learning from your experiences, and perhaps sharing some more in-depth future discussions. Thank you again, Ida, and to all our listeners for this wonderful exchange.
Thank
See you again next time.
thank you so much, Rick. Appreciate you.